Hey loves, this is Bobby and I'm here with another video. And yes, this is a Readathon TBR video. This is going to be the first one for the month. I'm hopefully going to be doing 4 of them. Took it a little easier this month after I absolutely failed last month. But October is my favorite time of the year. I love spooky season and I am so excited for these. As soon as I found out about this one, I knew for sure I was going to be taking part because this is a Hocus Pocus Readathon, and Hocus Pocus is one of my all-time favorite movies. I read the book last year and I really enjoyed it. The sequel was great, as well as being able to actually read the novelization of the movie was really cool. I just really enjoyed it, so yes, I recommend it if you haven't read it. So this readathon is taking place through the entire month of October. This is a team-based readathon and it is being hosted by Paige Ninks and Werewolfalicious. I will link everything down below. This is taking place over on Twitter. So let's get started with this. This is a smaller one. I am going to be just sticking with my team this time, so there we go. Let's get started. And I have joined Team Undead. I loved all of the prompts for this one as well as the team book the most. The team book is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I am dying to read this book. I haven't gotten my hands on a physical copy. I'm going to be ordering it hopefully in the next few days. It was supposed to be on a book buying ban, which I have actually stuck with pretty well, but you know what? Screw it. I'm dying to read this book and I have managed to avoid all spoilers for it. This follows the story of a boy, a trans boy who comes from a Latinx family that is very traditional and does not accept his gender, and to prove himself that he is a true brujo, which is a Latinx witch, he decides to cast a spell that is supposed to, I think, raise his cousin's ghost or something, but he ends up raising the ghost of the resident bad boy, and we go from there. It sounds really cool, definitely something I would love. I cannot wait to read this. Like I said, hopefully I'll be getting my copy in the next few days, so there we go. So let's go on to the team prompts. The first prompt is Binks, and that is to read a book that has to do with family. So for this prompt, I'm going to be going with The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is going to be a reread for me. I'm dying to finish the series. I've only read the first book in the series, so I am very excited. This was a 5-star book for me originally, so I'm very excited to see if it's going to stick with that rating. This follows the story of a girl named Evie who has these powers. I can't remember if it's she can read people's minds or she sees their past, but that gets her into some trouble at home and she is sent to New York, and this does take place in the 1920s, so she is a flapper girl and she gets sent to New York in the height of the flapper fashion, which I love. It's very just authentic and I loved it so much. Evie is one of those characters where you're either gonna love her or hate her. I absolutely loved her. She was so much fun and she's really kind of like a brat, and I liked it. But when she gets there to go live with her uncle runs a museum that specializes in supernatural and occult type items, and she meets his assistant, who is this very buttoned up, no nonsense type of guy that doesn't really like Evie all that much. And throughout the city there are people that are dying from this thing that no one can figure out, and we have a supernatural being. And there are other characters that start popping up that also have these powers. I loved it. There was a lot of kind of found family and stuff in this. I loved all the characters. Like I said, this was a 5-star book, so I'm really excited to see if that rating still sticks with it. I can't imagine changing it because I just remember loving this so much. So I am very excited for this one. There are also team type of powers that you get on here. I am going to be using both of my team powers. The first for the actual power prompt is going to be for it's your strength, and that is, you are now the ghost of Emily Binks. No one can see you. You get to be stealthy. You may double up on one of your prompts. That is where I'm going to be using the diviners for a second prompt, and that is going to be Emily, and that is to read a book about ghosts or paranormal. As I said, this does have a paranormal entity in it who is the villain, as well as other paranormal elements to it. Since this is such a chunky boy, I believe this is almost 600 pages, so I am excited for it, but like, since it is so big, and I do have one other book on one of my other TBRs that is over 1,000 pages, I definitely wanted to double up on this one for it. I love that power, so I will be using my little strength, but if you do use your strength, you also have a weakness, and the weakness is, unfortunately, Billy only has 24 hours until he must go back to the grave. You must have a 24-hour readathon. I will be using this book for my 24-hour readathon. I will be doing a vlog where I do talk about my 24-hour readathon. I'm going to see how much of this I can get through. I think when I originally read this, I read it in like 2 or 3 days, but that was with stopping and everything, and I believe I was at work at the time too. So yeah, I'm gonna see how much I can get through in 24 hours. I always say I'm gonna do 24-hour readathons, like when people do mini readathons, and I never actually stick with it because I always happen to get very busy because they're always on the weekends, and that's usually the only time of the week that I have to go out and do grocery shopping and stuff. So I'm going to probably be doing my 24-hour readathon sometime during the actual week, so it'll be a little easier for me, but I will be updating that on my Twitter when I do start, because I'm not sure exactly what date I'm going to go with for that, and I will update in a vlog as well. So since the diviners will be taking up 2 prompts, I will have one more to go, and that is going to be Billy, and that is to read a book with a morally gray character. This book is the last book in the series. This is book 4, and this is probably one of the most morally gray characters I've probably ever came across, and that is going to be The Final Descent by Rick Yancey. This is the 4th book in the Monstromologist series. I absolutely adore this series. The first 2 books are amazing. I just recently read the 3rd book last month. While it wasn't my favorite of the series, it was still really good. This is a great horror series, especially if you like classic horror like Frankenstein and Dracula and stuff like that. You will definitely love this series. But the character of Dr. Warthrop is one of the most morally gray characters I have ever came across. He isn't a terrible person, but he is very set in his ways, and he won't help anybody unless he feels like he's going to get something out of it, or that it can better his scientific, can't think of a word, but like scientifically, if it could help him or he can learn more about something, then he'll help, but even then he might not. This follow, like, I can't really talk about the rest of the series because I will spoil it, but we follow a character named Will Henry, who his parents have both died, and he is left in the care of Dr. Warthrop, who is a monstromologist. He studies monsters. The second book is about Wendigos. The first book, I can never remember the damn name of the creatures, but like they're these human bodies with no head, and their stomachs and everything else open up to a mouth. Like I said, it's a really good horror series. And Will Henry, he does not age right. I can't remember exactly what happened to him, but something had happened and he now ages slower. When he dies at the age of 130, his journals are found in his assisted living home, and they are passed on to Rick Yancey, this is kind of like a self-insert type of book where he is a journalist that starts writing the stories that Will Henry tells in these journals, and he's slowly trying to find out if Will Henry is just crazy, like monsters don't really exist, so is this guy crazy, or was he using these journals as a way to deal with some kind of trauma that happened when he was younger, because there's no way this guy was 130 years old. And the more he kind of dives in is the more he kind of learns about him, and he learns about this Dr. Warthrop, which he can't find any kind of mention of, in like a census or anything. So it was really, really cool. I've loved the series. Like I said, I'm very excited to get into the 4th book. Funny enough, for this being the last book, it is the shortest in the series, so I do not know what this one is about. Since it is the last in the series, I don't want to know, so I can't tell you, and two, I wouldn't want to really tell you because I don't want to spoil anything else, but I'm very, very excited for this one. So there we go. There is my Hocus Pocus Readathon TBR. I am very excited for this readathon. This is probably one of the most laid back readathons that I've ever done, especially since I'm not going to be going for any of the other teams and stuff, because usually I'll try and finish readathons, you know, even team readathons, like all the way through. I am only going to be doing my team, so I should have no problem finishing this one. The only one I have to get is Cemetery Boys, which I'm very, very excited for. So there we go. I hope you like this. If you are taking part, I would love to know. If you have your TBR up, I would love to watch it. So that's what's what, and I hope you guys have a awesome Halloween season. And as always, happy reading. Bye.